All right, so today we have a review that should have been done a long time ago on the docket. I'm going to be telling you about the Coros Pace 2, which I've used off and on a few times over the past few months. But today we're going to go for a run, refresh my memory on this watch, and let you know my thoughts from an ultra runner's perspective. I tell you, I am very impressed by this watch. It's very cool. And not only from an ultra runner's perspective, but my wife has also used it as well. And she is not a runner, but she likes fitness activities. It looks like a nice day. The sun is behind the clouds. It's nice and cool, breezy. The fall seems to be starting to come around a little bit, which I'm very, very excited about. So, all right, we'll get our thoughts in a little while. First, let's go for a run. What is going on, everybody? Dan the Ultra Dad here. Hope you're doing well. Hope your day is going well, your weekend. Happy Labor Day to those who celebrate it here in the United States. Anyway, so we have a 3-day weekend, which means lots of opportunities to run, to film, to put videos together. So if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to my channel, definitely hit that subscribe button. Hit the like thumbs up as well if you like this video in particular, and hit the bell notification if you'd like to be notified of future videos. All right, with that, let's get into my review of the Coros Pace 2. My goal today is going to be to tell you about how this watch works for ultra runners, because I am the Ultra Dad, and whether I think that it's something that ultra runners can use. Also, I'm going to add a couple of thoughts because my wife has been using it a little bit, and she has some thoughts as well. So before we get into the review, definitely a couple disclosures. Coros did send this watch to me for the purpose of this review, but I'm under no obligation to say anything positive or negative about the watch, and Coros didn't get to see this review before you do on YouTube. All right, let's talk about it. So here is the Coros Pace 2, and it's a really cool watch. Let's talk about first the actual body of the watch and the materials that are used and everything. So this watch is basically fully plastic, has a plastic body and a really nice rubber strap. I'll get back to that in just a minute, but the body itself, the main advantage with the body of this watch is just how darn light it is. It is extremely light. The only watch I really would compare it to is the Apple Watch, but it's probably comparable or maybe even lighter than the Apple Watch. So don't have the stats on that, but definitely check it out. It's extremely light. It basically disappears on your wrist, which is it's one of the main advantages of this watch. Really, really cool in that way. The screen is a color screen, a fully color display, very, very nice, very bright. As a matter of fact, I think it's the brightest Coros watch I've seen so far. So I don't know what they're doing here, but to me, it just seems a lot brighter and very, very nice, very crisp display. But overall, they've really gone all in with trying to make this an incredibly light watch, and it has definitely succeeded in doing that. So, other notes to mention, the digital dial, which is what they use on the Apex Pro. They also use it for the Vertex. This is a plastic dial, so once again, they're going all in with the light materials. So, but it works great. Works just like the other dials on the other watches. Have had no problems mechanically with it. So definitely, high marks for the build quality of this watch. One more note: the The actual buckle on the strap, I think they do a pretty good job with that. Once again, light materials, all plastic, but it really does work well. And the strap itself, I have to say, it's extremely comfortable. Has a lot of perforation and holes on it, so it's very any sweat that's on your wrist definitely is given a chance to dry up. And the rubber itself is just this really nice, kind of smooth, light, tacky kind of rubber, but not tacky enough to grab your hair on your wrist for us guys who have hair on our wrist. Anyway, so I think it's a very comfortable strap. Really, I mean, it's just really nice. So if you flip the watch over, definitely the same setup as most of their watches. I think that their heart rate sensor is a little bit simplified compared to the Vertix or the Apex Pro, but the same three-pronged charging adapter there, connector. So definitely that's the same one that you use for all of the Coros watches. Getting into the actual software and the inner workings of the watch. Again, I'm not going to get into a really technical and deep dive into that, but I'll just say it works basically the same as all of the other Coros watches. Once again, check out my review of the Coros Apex. I go into a little more depth on that. Plenty of different metrics to play with. You can also, I believe it has Ant Plus, so you can connect it to heart rate straps and things like that. In fact, I've tried that and it works just fine. But overall, the same great, I think it's a really great software that they use with the Coros products. Let's talk now about battery life. Battery life is really good with the Coros Pace 2. I'll put it on the screen right now what the actual advertised battery life is, but basically it's going to get you through pretty much anything except for maybe an ultra marathon. Now maybe some of the shorter ultras it would work. I mean, certainly would work for a 50 kilometer, but battery life is still very good for the size of watch that it is. Let's talk about GPS accuracy. Once again, I'm not the tech guy, so I'm not going to get into all the GPS tracking and showing you how it diverges, where the lines are and whether or not it's the most accurate GPS. What I can say is it seems to perform very much like the other Coros watches I've done, the Apex, Apex Pro, Vertix. The one thing is it's not quite as good in the trees, I think I've found. So be aware of that. For some reason, the GPS strength just isn't quite as good as if you were using an Apex, a Vertix. So just keep that in mind. It's probably best for bike paths, for road running and things like that. So that kind of brings me to my overall opinion of this watch and what I think it's best for. So I think this is a really, really amazing offering from Coros for marathon runners, for road runners. So in fact, I would say it's probably one of the best, if not the best, marathon or road running watch that you could get. It's so light that you really don't feel it on your wrist, and yet the battery life is really, really good. And so it's going to get you through those long runs, long training runs. It certainly will get you through a road marathon. So I just think, between the weight and the build quality, and of course the metrics that they give you as far as your fitness metrics, all of that is high quality. The app on the phone, I didn't mention that, but you use the same app that you'd use for all the other Coros watches, and all of that is really helpful for helping you to get better and become a better runner. But I think this is a great marathon watch, great road running watch. So if that's your thing, the Coros Pace 2 is probably one of your best options out there right now. Let's talk about, since I am the Ultra Dad, let's talk about how ultra runners might use this. Basically, I just don't think it's probably the best watch for an ultra marathoner. It would certainly work for a 50K road run or even a 50-kilometer race that's not heavily, there's not heavy foliage around, so you're not going through the woods. Maybe it's through fields and things like that. That would be just fine. But I would get very concerned with using this watch for, say, a 50K in the woods. I don't think you're going to get the same quality, the same accuracy on the GPS. But, even ultra runners train quite a bit on the roads. I do, at least. So this is definitely a watch that I could see myself using quite a bit on the roads. There really aren't that many runners that focus on trails and focus on ultra marathons like I do. So really there aren't. I mean, the majority of people like to run on the road, and so this watch is going to be perfect for most runners. Let's talk about non-runners. My wife is not a runner, and she wore this and went on many walks, and she did some weightlifting workouts, and she thought it was really good. She liked it a lot. So I think she enjoyed how it worked with the app. She thought the app was well designed and worked well. But I think the biggest thing for her was she loved how light it was, and it just comes back to that. It's just an amazingly light watch that just disappears on your wrist. And probably the best part about it for my wife was when she found out how much it costs. It only cost $199. So for $199, you get a very, very capable fitness watch with some smart features as well. You can certainly see all your notifications. For $199, this is a killer watch. Obviously, Coros has made some huge strides over the past couple years with their watches, and this is no exception to that. I think it's just a great offering. Anyway, so love this watch. I hope you have a chance to check out the Coros Pace 2. I highly recommend it. I hope you enjoyed my fairly basic review of this watch. I hope that maybe it helped you when it comes to decision making, whether you want to look into it, maybe buy it. Thank you again, Coros, for giving me a chance to review this watch.